Oh, that's working. Just as a little announcement beforehand, this will be a fairly laid-back service. We are going to have the coffee cart coming in with food and coffee, so we welcome you to take that during the service as you'd like, to even go on your phone if you have some poetry you need to look up. But good morning, friends, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of York. Before we enter into our worship time together, there are a few announcements we want to share about our community here at UUCY. K to first grade OWL is coming this fall, and orientation is being held next Sunday, July 13th after service in the Theodore Parker room located downstairs. Feel free to speak with Gal Whitmer or reach out to owl@uucy.org for more information. And join us this summer for the New Generational Circle, a spin-off of our friendship circles. This fun event is for every congregant, from the smallest to the tallest, and everyone in between. The next circle will be on Wednesday, July 16th from 4 to 7 in the sanctuary. Activities include games, crafts, social justice work, and enjoying a potluck meal together. And please bring a meal to share. There will be information in the posters out in the lobby. And finally, July 27th is a potluck picnic at the Marches. Immediately after the service, please talk to Molly March about more information about that. Now that we've addressed business, let's turn our attention to worship. I am Cass Horne. I am the unofficial poetry person here at UUCY. My pronouns are they, them, and I'll be helping to lead our service this morning. Whoever you are, whoever you love, we are glad your faith journey brought you here today. The mission of this congregation is to nurture a loving community, inspire lifelong spiritual and personal growth, and act for a better world. We welcome all of you to join us in person or online. If you are joining us for the first time, we invite you to visit our welcome desk to fill out a visitor card or send an email to visitor@uucy.org so that we might get to know you. We invite you to bring your whole self into the sanctuary space with us. If you are here in the sanctuary with us, please remember to set your device to worship mode on silent or vibrate. If it would be helpful for you to sketch, color, or enjoy another centering activity during worship, you're invited to check out our spirit work cart in the back of the sanctuary. Let us now mark this time made sacred by our presence by taking a collective breath. Again, welcome to UUCY. As we light the chalice, the symbol of our living tradition here in the sanctuary, you are also invited to light a candle of chalice of your own if you are joining us remotely. Today's chalice lighting words are "We Summon Ourselves" by Gordon B. McKeeman. We summon ourselves from the demands and delights of the daily round, from the dirty dishes and unwaxed floors, from unmowed grass and untrimmed bushes, from all incompleteness and not yet startedness. From the unholy and the unresolved, we summon ourselves to our vision of peace and justice, of cleanliness and health, of delight and devotion, of the lovely and the holy, of who we are and what we can do. We summon the power of tradition and the exhilaration of newness, the wisdom of the ages and the knowing of the very young. We summon beauty, eloquence, poetry, and music to be the bearers of our dreams. We would open our eyes, our ears, our minds, our hearts to the ampleness, dimensions of life. We rejoice in manifold promises and possibilities. So now is when I introduce the poetry share. As you can probably tell, our service day is a bit different than our usual services. So I will invite people to come up to the microphone and share a piece of poetry. I ask everyone to please just read one poem to begin with and to be mindful of time, as we want everybody who wishes to share to be able to share. After the service, we will have about an hour where we will an extra optional time for people to share more poetry. If you have somewhere to be, or if you have had enough poetry for today, you are welcome to leave, but we welcome you to stay if you'd like. So I see we have someone that wants to start. Yep. Actually, pastries in that one. Oh, right
here. Hi, friends. I thought I'd read you another page from my book, Working in the Light. Can you hear okay back there, guys? This is called Turn Around. Once you have grown, you cannot ungrow. Once you have known, you cannot unknow. There is no turning back to past days, no picking up again past ways. The self you've outgrown, you must discard, or else there's no room for new you, and your path would be too hard. Say farewell to your past. It is over and done. Your great leap to the future has already begun. Never can another do your thinking for you. For you are finding for yourself what is right and true. Do not stand with your eyes on your past. It is autumn leaves on the ground. All you need to go forward is turn around, turn around.
Do we have anyone else? I know Robert Falcon has something. I'm not sure if he wanted to share. Put him on the spot.
And before I read, I just want to thank everyone for your bearing with us. We are having some technical problems today. When Riley sings, she's going to make do with a little boombox here. So, okay, this poem, When Giving is All We Have. This is by Alberto Rios. One river gives its journey to the next. We give because someone gave to us. We give because no one gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it. We have been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small, diamond in wood nails. Its story is old, the plot worn and the pages too, but we read this book anyway, over and over again. Giving is, first and every time, hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. You gave me blue, and I gave you yellow. Together we are simple green. You gave me what I did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together we made something greater from the difference.
So I did this painting after the election, and I researched why did people vote for Kamala and why did people vote for Trump. And the woman in the middle is actually two paintings I had done, and she's split in half, and one is a black woman, the other is a white woman. And it's done on an old antique mirror because I think it reflects who we are, you know. So anyway. And then this is a poem, you can put it down. This is a poem that I found, and I think on July 4th, this is where I stand anyway. And it was written by Zoe Leonard in 1992, but very relevant today. It was when a gay friend of hers ran for president, and it's now sculpted on the High Line in New York City. I want a dyke for president. I want a person with AIDS for president, and I want a fag for vice president, and I want someone with no health insurance, and I want someone who grew up in a place where the earth is so saturated with toxic waste that they didn't have a choice about getting leukemia. I want a president that had an abortion at 16, and I want a candidate who isn't the lesser of two evils. And I want a president who lost their last lover to AIDS, who still sees that in their eyes every time they lay down to rest, who held their lover in their arms and knew that they were dying. I want a president with no air conditioning, a president who has stood in line at the clinic, at the DMV, at the welfare office, and who has been unemployed and laid off and sexually harassed and gay bashed and deported. I want someone who spent the night in the tombs and who had a cross burn on their lawn and survived rape. I want someone who's been in love and been hurt, who respects sex, who has made mistakes and learned from them. I want a black woman for president. I want someone with bad teeth, someone who has eaten hospital food, someone who cross-dresses and has done drugs and been in therapy. I want someone who has committed civil disobedience. I want to know why this isn't possible. I want to know why we started learning somewhere down the line that a president is always a clown, always a John and never a hooker, and always a boss and never a worker, always a liar, always a thief and never caught.
Do we have anyone else that wants to share? Oh, I think we have two people coming up. You're already standing, come on up. And then next.
Good morning, everyone. We're going a little bit from somewhat sublime to somewhat, not silly, but anyway. I was looking for poems that celebrate summer. I never feel closer to the spirit of life than when I'm in nature. So this is a Billy Collins poem named Directions. You know the brick path in back of the house, the one you see from the kitchen window, the one that bends around the far end of the garden where all the yellow primroses are. And you know how if you leave the path and walk up into the woods, you come to a heap of rocks. Probably probably pushed down during the horrors of the Ice Age, and a grove of tall hemlocks, dark green now against the light brown fallen leaves. And farther on, you know, the small footbridge with the broken railing, and if you go beyond that, you arrive at the bottom of the Sheep's Head Hill. Well, if you start climbing, and you might have to grab hold of a sapling when the going gets steep, you will eventually come to a long stone ridge with a border of pine trees, which is as high as you can go, and a good enough place to stop. The best time is late afternoon when the sun strobes through the columns of trees as you are hiking up. And when you find an agreeable rock to sit on, you will be able to see the light pouring down into the woods and breaking into the shapes and tones of things, and you will hear nothing but a sprig of birdsong or the leafy falling of a cone or nut through the trees. And if this is your day, you might even spot a hare or feel the wing beats of geese driving overhead towards some destination. But it is hard to speak of these things, how the voices of light enter the body and begin to recite their stories, how the earth holds us painfully against its breast made of humus and brambles, and how we will soon be gone. Regard the entities that continue to return greener than ever, spring water flowing through a meadow, and the shadows of clouds passing over the hills, and the ground where we stand in the tremble of thought, taking the vast outside into ourselves. Still, let me know before you set out. Come knock on my door, and I will walk with you as far as the garden with one hand on your shoulder, and I will even watch after you and not turn back to the house until you disappear into the crowd of maple and ash heading up toward the hill, piercing the ground with your stick. I love you.
So the poem that I've been referring back to a lot over the past couple of months since my family and I have been navigating a transition, I've also heard other people in my life speaking about the same theme because it's coincided with the inauguration and everything that's happened since then. So you may find it relatable, I know. It's come in handy for me. It's called Unstoppable, and it was written by a person called Donna Ashworth in the beginning of COVID. Unstoppable, they called her, but I saw her stop. I saw her stop many times. Sometimes I thought she had stopped for good. But no, she always found a way to resurrect. Rise again, not the same, never the same. Each time a little more determined and a little less vulnerable. Unstoppable, they said, but I think it was in the stopping that she found her peace.
Anyone else?
This poem doesn't have a lot of meaning, but there's a lot of levity in it, and I want you to pay attention to some of the internal rhyming, which I find really engaging. So it's called Turtle by Kay Ryan. Who would be a turtle who could help it? A barely mobile hard roll, a four-oared helmet. She can ill afford the chances she must take, rowing toward the grasses that she eats. Her track is graceless, like dragging a packing case places, and almost any slope defeats her modest hopes. Even being practical, she's often stuck up to the axle on her way to something edible. With every optimal, she skirts the ditch. With everything optimal, She skirts the ditch, which would convert her shell into a serving dish. She lives below luck level, never imagining some lottery will change her load of pottery to wings. Her only levity is patience, the sport of truly chastened things.
So I'm going to be so bold as to share a poem of my own. Don't worry, it's short. I wrote it more than 20 years ago, but as I get older and life seems to go by even more quickly, I still find it very relevant. I titled it, "And Then I May Go." Come quickly, if I'm going to live. Come racing to my side. Come share with me your secret thoughts, or make of me your bride. Then later, if I'm going to die, come slowly, if you must. You needn't race for one last word with ashes in your dust. If there are things you'd like to say, or gifts we both might give, then say them now, or bring them by. Come quick, if I'm to live.
I believe we have time for one more, so we have to do Matters of the Heart, and then we will have more time for open mic.
At a time when our country and world are pretty divided, I think often of Joy Harjo's poem, "Perhaps the world ends here." The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table, so it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instruction on what it means to be human. We make men at it, we make women. At this table we gossip, recall enemies, and the ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us as they put their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor falling down selves. And we put ourselves back together once again at the table. The table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and have prepared our parents for burial here. At this table, we sing with joy, with sorrow. We pray for suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating of the last sweet bite. Which is to say, we're kind of all the same.
Join together and sing Spirit of Life. I'm just going to start us out. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hands, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. All right, now we invite you into generosity as we collect our weekly offering.
Each week, we commit to share our offering with a community organization that upholds our values. Our Share the Plate partner for the month of July is UU Justice PA. It serves as the voice for our UU values in Harrisburg. It is supported by our 40 congregations in Pennsylvania. It has 7 justice teams: LGBTQA, reproductive justice, economic justice, gun violence, environmental justice, criminal justice reform, and good government, which we need right now. Our own Donna Alcorn is on its board of directors. All right, and then my daughter is going to be singing the offertory. Now, we had some technical difficulties, so we're going with a Bluetooth here at the very, very, very last minute. My husband ran home and got it. Yeah.
I'm sentimental, so I walk in the rain. I've got some habits, even I can explain. Go to the corner, I end up in Spain. Why try to change me now? I sit and daydream. I've got daydreams galore. Cigarette ashes, there they go on the floor. Go away weekends, leave my keys in the door. Why try to change me now? Why can't I be more conventional? People talk and they stare, so I try. But that can't be, 'cause I can't see my strange little world just go passing me by. So let people wonder, let them laugh, let them frown. You know I love you till the moon's upside down. Don't you remember? I was always your clown. Why try to change me now? Why can't I be more conventional? People talk and they stare, so I try. But that can't be, because I can't see my strange little world just go passing me by. So let people wonder, let them laugh, let them frown. You know I'll love you till the moon's upside down. Don't you remember? I was always your clown. So why try to change me? Why would you wanna change me? Why try to change me now?
And now we will be doing a little bit more poetry. I remember I told you, you'll start us off if you want to come on.
Hi everybody, I'm Zen, pronouns they, them. I have a poem called Testimony by Rebecca Baggett. I want to tell you that the world is still beautiful. I tell you that despite children hurt on city streets, shot down in schoolrooms, despite the slow poison seeping from old and hidden sins into our air, soil, and water, despite the thinning film that encloses our aching world, despite my own terror and despair, I want you to look again and again, to recognize the tender grasses curled like babies' fine hairs around your fingers, as a reoccurring miracle, to see the river rocks shine like God, that the crisp voices of the orange and gold October leaves are laughing at death. I want you to look beneath the grass, to note the fragile hieroglyphs of ant, snail, beetle. I want you to understand that you are no more and no less necessary than the brown recluse, the ruby-throated hummingbird, the humpback whale, the profligate mimosa. I want to say, like Neruda, that I am waiting for a great and common tenderness, that I still believe we are capable of attention, that anyone who notices the world must want to save it.
Anyone else?
Morning, my name is Joanne. I'm actually here as a guest of Rita. And she texted me last night and told me that you, first of all, she said dress casually and, your best Hawaiian shirt. So, God, it was such a choice. And I just want to note that in April I was in Woodstock, which has got a history with me. And I feel so at home here for some reason. And just that you've all been, like people are very welcoming, and I'm going to stop because I'm not running for any kind of political position. However, when she texted me this, it immediately brought my mind. In the past 2 days, I have watched 2 very different movies of very different genres that had the same poem. And it struck me that I'm sure, it was something I probably was supposed to memorize in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. I should bring my phone up while I'm talking here. But when I heard it, it had such a deeper impact to me. So I'd like to share it with you and sing along if you know the words. This is by Emma Lazarus. Perhaps you know it. Not like and I haven't spoken in public in a while, so don't worry, you won't be asking for autographs. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed, sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she, with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
Yeah. Love your reaction. You're like, who, me?
Hello, I'm Russ McKnight. Janie and I used to live in the Finger Lakes, and this is an Indian poem. They're the Six Nations there, the Mohawks, the Oneida, the Cayuga, the Onondaga, the Seneca, that lived in New York and Canada. And I'm not going to read the entire poem. You'll see why. Onen nan waeshnan we netsenwat nikan killa ne forth wake Ma'oma Shon Onaha Wekan. It's quite a bit longer than that. It's about trees, the tree. And these are often said before meetings of the Indians in the 6 tribes. We now turn our thoughts to the trees. The earth has many families of trees who have their own instructions and uses. Some provide us with shelter and shade, others with fruit, beauty, and other useful things. Many people of the world use a tree as a symbol of peace and strength. With one mind, we greet and thank the tree life.
Anyone else?
This is one I wrote. It's about gender reveal parties. It's called Gender Reveal. You obsess over a party that is not yours to dictate, coordinating colored choreography for the big reveal, the optimal internet likes. Relax. He, she, or they will share themselves to whomever they want at a future date in their own way.
I have one. This is not about summer, even though it was supposed to be this service. I have one about spring, which kind of goes with. It's called Spring's Funeral. I know the place where she eventually died. It's where my trailing lips once left bruising tulips to bloom from her pores in my wake. It's where my delicate fingers once braided her hair with grass and feathers. It's where my warm palm once tread against her petal-soft features and rough bark edges. It's where my gaze used to catch her singing and twirling to awaken the bright world around her. I know the place where she was eventually buried. It's where I dust off flakes of white from her now pale cheeks and lips after every storm. It's where I adorn her in vines and pressed wildflowers to keep her warm during the last bitter season. It's where I had closed her fragile eyelids and shifted her empty irises away from the blush of the sunset. It's where I whisper goodbyes among sullen wind as she decomposes into the heart of the wintry earth. I know the place where she will eventually resurface. It's where my boots stomp down frozen blades of grass as I trudge through an icy breeze. It's where my body shivers and my breath leaves my lips blue, where I patiently stand waiting for her. It's where my soul will again be warmed and my heart will melt with the rest of the snow around me. It's where my life will again have meaning as she comes back to life in a whirl of sunlight and blossoms. Thank you.
So if nobody else wanted to share, I know my friend Sue had a really interesting idea. Are you prepared to do that? Yeah. All right. We weren't sure we were, but we had to use a Bluetooth anyway. Well, yeah, I was checking to see if I could.
Okay. Yeah, I do that. I should put it up.
I think some more treats are back in the back and I want to check for donuts or cookies. Yeah. I'm sorry, what's that?
I think your microphone.
Oh, my mic is off. You're everybody here. There's more treats in the back if you're hungry. Well,
I actually brought the lyrics that we could pass out, so we're going to.
So some of you will recognize the lyrics to this song. And I just was inspired to do this. You know, poetry comes in many forms, and song lyrics are poetry. And just, you know, this is one of the most summery songs, you know, with Jimmy Buffett that you could ever, with the shirts and the, you know, color and everything. But I also wanted to offer it because it's, you know, with everything that's happening in the world and in our country, you know, it's just, my heart wants to say, never let them take your joy, your love, your light. Like, never stop keeping that sense of humor and the laughter, because it is powerful against evil. So I just wanted to offer this. So it's sort of a song and dance. I'm not actually going to sing, because you would not want that, but we can all sing along. You can stand up and dance, or, you know, whatever you feel like you want to do. So hopefully this is going to work.
All the places
Carol brought a second painting and poem. And oh, do we have somebody else that wanted to read? Oh, well, come on up. Thank you, Sue.
This is a poem by William Bronk. He was a lumberman who was a third-generation lumberman north of Albany, New York. I had a chance to meet him and drive him back from an airport back in 1970. The title of the poem is Midsummer. A green world, a scene of green, deep with light blues, the greens made deep in those blues. One thinks how in certain pictures, envied landscapes are seen through a window maybe, far behind the serene sitter's face, the serene pose, as though in some impossible mirror, face to back, human serenity gazed at a green world which gazed at this face. And see now, here's that place. Those greens are here, deep with those blues. The air we breathe is freshly sweet and warm, as though with berries. We are here. We are here. Set this down too, as much as if an atrocity had happened and been made seen. The earth is beautiful beyond all changes.
And now we will go into extinguishing the chalice and benediction. Our closing words are, the world is too beautiful. The world is too beautiful to be praised by only one voice. May you have the courage to sing your part. The world is too broken to be healed by only one set of hands. May you have the courage to use your gift. May you go in peace.